Welcome back to the Inner China Show. This week is a little bit different because I'll be doing it by myself, and I'll be doing a screen share, and we're gonna walk through what a good launch page looks like and the elements to a launch page that will be successful. Specifically, we're going to cover crowdfunding pages in today's presentation. But if you're interested in doing a launch page for a non-crowdfunding campaign, there is an excellent article written by the founder of Harry's Razor Blades, and they had an incredible launch, millions of dollars with a viral referral campaign. And so I would recommend that you check that out. And yeah, I mean, this is a good place to start here, is considering, do you want to do crowdfunding or do you want to launch on your own? When considering whether or not you want to do crowdfunding or launch on your own, you have to figure out which one's going to be a better fit for you. Is it going to be crowdfunding or launching on your own? And there's some pros and cons to either. Most of the time, you're not going to want to launch on your own unless you already have a substantial following and you have a substantial email base, or there's a clear and definable path to getting a large amount of followers to your product website and your launch page. If that's not you, crowdfunding is a much better option, because crowdfunding will provide you the opportunity to get eyeballs that you normally wouldn't get if you can work the system correctly. So when you're on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, if you play by the rules and you kind of game the system correctly, then you can potentially get a lot of views on your page. And that's where you get exposure to your brand that you would have not normally have received because you didn't have the email list built up, or you didn't have that kind of natural following already built up. So if you already have a substantial amount of email followers and you already have a substantial amount of followers to your brand in general, launching on your own is probably a good option. If not, then crowdfunding is probably a better option. And then the next question is, okay, if you're going to do crowdfunding, and that's what we're going to cover in this video today, is whether or not you should do Indiegogo or Kickstarter. And there's some pros and cons to these as well. Indiegogo is a smaller website and a smaller platform, but that comes with the benefit of it's easier to get featured on Indiegogo. Once you are featured, you get a lot of eyeballs. Whereas on Kickstarter, it's much more difficult to get featured because there's much more competition. And so you have to work 2 times, 3 times, 10 times as hard to get the same feature that you might be able to get on Indiegogo. That being said, Kickstarter has a substantially larger audience base, and so there's potential for you to get many, many, many more views on your campaign. And then here's some options if you decide to go the route of launching on your own. There's LaunchRock, Instapage. I used Instapage to gather emails prior to my crowdfunding campaign. So these can also operate as just landing pages to get extra emails before you launch on Kickstarter, which is exactly what we've talked about in previous videos, and which is exactly what you're going to want to do before your campaign. So Instapage is a really easy drag and drop solution. I've heard good things about LaunchRock too. I'm not 100% sure about them just because I used Instapage myself, and there are others as well. Alright, let's get into it. Let's talk about what the elements of a good launch page or crowdfunding page is. And what we're going to do is just go through a example. We're going to walk through a page that has done really well, and the one that I've chosen to walk through today is going to be the 10-year hoodie project. 10-year, and I'll just pull up their page now. 10-year hoodie did, you can see here, $1,053,830. I mean, it's an incredible campaign. They had 9,226 backers, and this is just, when you're looking at doing something successfully, you want to emulate those who have already done it successfully, and this is a great campaign to look at. Because I mean, who doesn't want to raise $1 million on a $50,000 goal? So we're gonna break down this campaign page and talk more about it and see what we can glean from this and apply to our own campaigns. But first, let's get back into the elements of a good launch page. So when you're considering a launch page, and I've listed these kind of in the order that they should appear on your page. The top one is not really an actual thing that you'll put on your page, but it's something that will be quintessential throughout your entire campaign, which is personality is key. In everything that you write on your campaign page, in every video that you post, your personality counts. When it comes to crowdfunding, people realize that they're supporting businesses that are up and coming, that these are new brands that are launching, and they want to know who you are. If you remove yourself as the founder and your personality from the brand, it's not as personal anymore. And that's just a regular brand that you can go find in the store or in the mall. So you want to make sure that you're baking in that personality into your campaign through everything that you do. This is like, if you don't take anything else away from this, remember this. Personality is key. This is a huge, significant portion. The next thing you're going to want to do is create a cover photo. All right, let's look at the 10-year hoodies example of a cover photo. So you can see when you search for 10-year hoodie, this is the kind of title card that you get. And this is, you know, if they were featured, this would be on the home page. This would be in different categories on Kickstarter's website. So you want to have a very visual image that represents your brand well and represents the product well. You know, 10-year hoodie is going for this very clean, very design savvy look. And you know, since they're making a clothing product, having something that looks like a sketch or, you know, a design sketch for their actual product, this kind of plays into their marketing and their branding. And you can see it's very clean, it's very clear, and the proposition, the value proposition is very clear as well. Built for life and backed with a guarantee like none other. So this is, I mean, and the name of the hoodie is clear. It's exactly what you're getting, the 10-year hoodie. This thing lasts for 10 years. So you want when you're creating a title card, you want it to be as clear as possible so that if somebody sees that image, they can make an immediate decision. Do I like this or do I not? And if they like it, they're going to click. If they don't, they're not going to click. Not everybody's going to like your product, but your title card helps them to make that decision more quickly. If it's not clear what your product is in your title card, if your image is not clear, if the value prop is not clear, then people will just go away. They don't understand, and they're not going to take the time to be like, what is that? I don't really understand that. So make sure you have a clear title card, cover photo. Which brings us to the headline. The headline is the exact same principle, except it's not as visual, but you want to make sure that they can process your value proposition within a split second. The 10-year hoodie, built for life, backed for a decade. You understand immediately what you're getting. You're getting a very high quality, long-lasting hoodie, and they're even willing to back it for a decade to back these claims. So you know that this is a quality product right off the bat. And if you're interested in hoodies, even if you're not interested in hoodies, if you stumble across it, you're like, whoa, 10 years, that's like none of my hoodies would last that long. So you want to click in. So it's also not only making it very clear, but you can also surprise people with your title cards. Say, whoa, okay, that's different. And that's exactly what a value proposition is. You want to say exactly what's different about your product. If that's not clear in the headline, then people are going to go away. So make sure that the differentiator for your product is clear within the headline. Okay, the next thing is a video. And this could be its own video in and of itself, how to make a video for Kickstarter, and I'm sure we'll do one of these in the future. But let's just break down a few of the elements of a good video. The first thing you're going to want to think of is making it short and sweet. Too many Kickstarter videos take a really long time to develop the story, to develop the brand, and to develop the product in their video. They just keep rambling and rambling and rambling. And for you, you're excited to make this video because it's been a labor of love for months or years in some circumstances, and so you want to keep talking about it. But remember, this video is your first exposure to the world. They have never heard of you before, and you have seconds to convince them to continue to consider you. So you have to use those seconds, those valuable seconds, to grab their attention. So from the very beginning, it should be clear in video, picture, visual format exactly what the product is and exactly what the value proposition is. And then you should take no longer than 2 minutes to explain the unique differentiators and the benefits to your potential customer. So many times people want to spend a lot of time focusing on features in their video. And features are great, but features aren't what sell. Benefits are what sell. How does this product give your potential customers something that they didn't have? How does it benefit them in a way that they didn't have? You know, features tell them how great the product is. Benefits tell them how great the product will be for them. So spend a lot of time on benefits in your video and use features as a supporting cast in your video. And try and keep it less than 2 minutes. So I know that's a really fast generalization of how a crowdfunding video should be. Like I said, this is a large topic and can be covered extensively, and so we'll make a video in the future to cover this specific topic. The next thing you're going to want to consider is social proof. This is saying other people like our product too, and you can see it here right at the top. And it's been seen in a lot of really valuable publications. Esquire, MTV, Maxim, Uncrate, all of these are very well known. And I think this specific campaign chose to put the most well-known brands in their social proof section. I've seen some campaigns that just have a really large social proof section because they put everybody that's ever mentioned them. And that can serve as a way of psychologically showing people that are viewing the page that, like, wow, a lot of people are talking about this. So that's a good option as well, especially if there's a lot of people talking about you, but there's not a lot of big names talking about you. You can use the sheer mass to your advantage over, if you don't have an Esquire on your side or an MTV, you can use the just mass of smaller publications talking about you to wow people as well. But this gives the proof that other people like this, and that if your customer buys your product, that, okay, this is a quality product that others are considering as well. So it's a good decision. Next thing would be product description / features. So, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet points in, and we're just now getting to product description and features. And you see with 10-year hoodie, right off the bat, they're talking about benefits. They're not talking about the features, but they're using the features in their benefits to tell how those things benefit. So a super premium unisex sweatshirt made from the finest materials. I mean, this is their biggest value prop, right? This is what allows for their second value prop to be true. They're built for life. And then they're getting into their code, what they believe about clothing and what their brand kind of rallies behind, and they even call that a battle cry. So they're building out their personality too. The fact that they called it a battle cry is part of their personality. 100% made in America. This talks about who they're trying to be as a brand too. That's the benefits, that's the product description. And then product details. Now, on this page, the product details are a little bit lower down. They talk about the sizes available, what that means as far as measurements, and how you can consider yourself to this. They talk about that it's a unisex fit, and then they break down all of the details in pictures, and this is huge. Like when you are creating, and I'm going to get to this a little bit later as far as the next bullet point is about visuals and photos, but when you're creating a campaign, if you can put what you're saying in visual format, you should do it every time. And they took the opportunity to explain their details in pictures, because the more you can show your product off, the more likely people are to fall in love with it. And so you've got to give them more opportunities to see themselves wearing or using or participating in your product. And pictures do that well. So do videos. So here they are, just using each little thumbnail picture to explain one element of the 10-year hoodie. And then they do some comparison here. They speak about how it's made of 100% cotton. They show the difference in stitching. The next thing is a personal story. Now this is where you get to kind of shout out your philosophy and this is where you really get to develop your personality. With this one, I put it a little bit further down the page so that as they're progressing through, they fall in love with the product, and then they see my story, and then they fall in love with me. Flint & Tinder, who makes the 10-year hoodie, put it a little bit higher up on their page, and then they kept it a little short. Mine was full of pictures, and it took a little bit longer to develop, but I had so many people that messaged me and said, buying this product, I felt like a part of it because of reading your campaign page, and I want to be a part of helping this project to grow and to help you as a person succeed. So I spent a lot of time developing my story when I was creating my page. But it's 100% necessary. You should always tell where you came from, why you decided to build the project or whatever your product is, and then how you introduced it to the world and what you're hoping for. And this is a theme throughout the entire campaign. Is should be front and center, solid visuals, pictures, pictures, pictures. Let's look at this. I mean, from the very beginning, everything is in picture format. They show people wearing it, woman and man, because it's a unisex. They break down the details in a picture format. They offer you to learn more information about Flint & Tinder. They offer colors and show you what those look like. You know, if they make any changes or if they add any add-ons, they're putting in little feature boxes to show you. Like we already talked about, the features were explained in picture format. Just pictures, 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 pictures. I mean, you get the point here. There should not be an area of substantial text on your screen. There should always be, at least every time you scroll down, there should be a new picture available. There shouldn't be only text on the screen at any one point in time. So always have pictures breaking up your text. All right, at the bottom of the page, you want to have a risks and rewards disclaimer. This just tells people that this is crowdfunding. This is a new company, and I mean, you can see it here. Like, this is where you tell them, you know, you're backing someone who's new in the game, and maybe you're not new in the game, but maybe you know, you really need this money to get this product funded. And there could be some miscalculations, there's just problems that come up with manufacturing or anything like that. And you want to let them know that through crowdfunding, they're providing a great opportunity. They're getting an excellent discount because they're one of the early adopters, one of the first to purchase, but there is a possibility that things could go wrong, and you want to outline exactly what those things are. I would take a look at a lot of different campaign pages, risks and rewards or challenges sections, and see how they word it, and then choose what works best for you and your project. Okay, Then you also want to have a production timeline. For whatever reason, Flint and Tinder on the 10-year hoodie decided to not put a production timeline. It may have been because their campaign has expired. Sometimes campaigns will change their campaign page after it's completed so that it's updated for the most recent information. But we'll go ahead and jump over to the Vincero page. This is Tim and Nick's Kickstarter campaign when they did their marble watches, their stone and stainless steel watches. And you can see here that it's just a visual that explains when this product is going to be complete. So it starts, the Kickstarter funding stage is here in November. They receive all the materials and then they start manufacturing. They have an assembly period, quality control, and then in February they're fulfilling the order. So this way it's just very clear to the customer exactly when they're going to get their product. Alright, the last thing you're going to want to consider is a call for help. You have to actually ask your viewers, your customers, your potential customers to support you, to back your campaign. Psychologically, everybody needs a push. And as someone that's running a campaign, I know it's very tough to actually ask for that support, but it's a necessary part. If you look at the Flint and Tinder page for the 10-year hoodie, they have a really quick line at the end here that says, "Thank you so much for your support. We will not let you down." I spent a lot more time building that out personally, just asking specifically for their help because I need this amount of MOQs and it's this price, and you can help me with this discounted watch. And so it's very clear exactly what I was offering them and what I needed from them. I also put it in my video, and it's a good idea to build out your video so that at the very end you're saying that's what the product is, and now everything is ready to go. I have a sample made, but I need your help to bring mass production into order. And that's where you come in, and then asking them for their support. So these are the elements of a great Kickstarter campaign or a great crowdfunding campaign in general. It's also great for a launch page that you're not going, like if you're not going to use crowdfunding. These elements will be helpful there as well. But that's not all. I mean, you still have to set your funding goal on your page. So let's talk about that because a lot goes into creating that funding goal amount. So you want to consider a lot of things, and let's just break them down step by step. The first thing that you want to consider is your minimum order quantity. You talk to your factory and they've said, here's how much you have to order of X product in order for us to do business with you. That's the MOQ. And you need to know how much each unit cost is. So that includes the packaging cost for your products. Remember, these also have a minimum order quantity. We talked about this in a previous video. The price of shipping your goods from factory to your warehouse. The price of shipping each individual package to the consumer. If this is if you gave free shipping. If you didn't give free shipping, if you're giving discounted shipping, it helps to know exactly how much. Because a lot of times with Kickstarter campaigns or with crowdfunding in general, you're quoting a general price. You're not saying everybody's shipping price is different. So you could lose some on some people and you could gain some on others. So you just want to know generally what the margin of error is. Import taxes associated with shipping your goods. Sometimes you'll have the consumer pay the import tax in the case of like the EU. They're typically used to that, but you should make them aware on your page if you're going to do that. Any branding elements that you ship with. So if you have pamphlets or stickers or catalog, these kinds of things cost money too, and you need to recognize per unit how much each of those things cost. Budget for website development. After you finish your launch and after you've successfully completed your campaign, you're going to put up a website, and the cost of building that website should be included in the amount that you need to raise so that you can make sure that all costs in your business are covered by your crowdfunding campaign. You're going to have ongoing advertising expenses after your campaign, and you should consider those costs as well. Even during your campaign, if you want to make back some of your advertising budget for the campaign, consider that. And then processing fees. I think Kickstarter takes about 5%, Indiegogo takes 5%, and then if you're working with PayPal, they take a 5% cut as well, or 3%. It depends on a number of things, but recognize what the processing fees are and calculate those in as well. So let's just break this down. Let's talk about. So let's say you have 1,000. Let's just call this a trinket, right? And you have to order 1,000. Your MOQ is 1,000. And let's say that the cost of each unit to make a final unit is $3. Okay, so that's the minimum order quantity. That's the unit cost to get a finalized trinket. Now let's consider the packaging costs of that. Let's say the packaging is $1 as well. Let's talk about the price of shipping your goods from factory to warehouse. Let's say that's 0.5, and this might mean from the factory in China to the warehouse on the West Coast, or wherever your warehouse is that you're distributing from. Or if your warehouse is in Hong Kong, that shipping process is a lot cheaper as well. So you're seeing how this is going. At the end, you get a price of 13.5 per unit. Okay? So you take this number here and you say, I've got 1,000 MOQ. It's going to cost me $13,500 to get this product made. Now, I took this number and I doubled it. Why did I double it? Well, I doubled it because I'm going to have to make new orders on top of the original 1,000 MOQ to cover, future demand. And so I want to make sure that I'm putting in a buffer for those new purchases after the original Kickstarter campaign. Now, obviously, you could end up selling a lot more than 1,000 on your crowdfunding campaign, and that's fantastic. And your unit price will go down when your MOQ goes down. But in your original goal setting, you should take whatever price you get here and double it. And so that number is 27,000. But what I did was I took 7 off and I made the final price, the final goal, $20,000. And the reason I did that is because when you're considering your campaign, you want to set a goal that is ambitious but is also achievable. You don't want to set a goal that's so high that psychologically backers are thinking, even if I did back this campaign, it wouldn't come to fruition. So I just tied up $100 into a campaign that's not going to happen. So you want to create a number that's achievable, and when you're launching your campaign, you can get to that number really quickly, as fast as possible. And this goes back to what Nick was talking about in the previous video about pre-sales. If you've got your pre-sales built out, you should be able to reach whatever your goal number is on the first day or within the first couple of hours. So you should already have people lined up to fill out whatever this goal is for you. So make it realistic, make it achievable, make it ambitious though, and make sure it covers your MOQ as well. So that's how you build out the goal. What you should be what you should be raising for your goal. Okay, let's talk about rewards now. This is a quintessential part of building a Kickstarter campaign or any crowdfunding campaign. So with your rewards, you want to create urgency, you want to create an affordable price that rewards early backers, and you always want to have like a thank you tier at $1 or $5, because not everybody's going to be able to purchase, and you might have a friend from college that is not in a place to purchase your product, but they want to support you, and you want to give them an opportunity to support you. How do you create urgency? Let's go back to the 10-year hoodies campaign. And you can see here they have their $1 pledge, and this is kind of a thank you tier. This is what they say: contribute $1 and we'll send you some custom flint and tinder matches. So, something cheap that they're handing out. on my campaign, I just mentioned everybody that did that on social media. They also have a $10, they're offering a patch here. So just smaller things that don't cost as much money, but you can give people an opportunity to get in at a lower level. So here is their first reward tier level. That's actually, you get a 10-year hoodie. And this is all gone, and you can see it's all gone because of how Kickstarter works, but they say 1,000 backers. So they limited the amount that could come in at the $89 like early bird level. So that's how you create urgency. You limit the amount that you can purchase at a certain dollar amount, and it goes up to the next level of price if they miss out on the first 1,000. It looks like Flint and Tinder decided to keep their price all the same. My assumption is they were getting a massive amount of backers, and so they didn't have an issue with urgency, and so they were able to just keep people coming in and buying more. I mean, their first tier was 1,000, their second tier was 2,000, 3,000. So it's clear that people coming in at 89 was working for them, and they didn't need to raise the price and create urgency. We can go back to the Vincero campaign and see, they started out at 99 for 50 backers, went up to 119, went up to 129, 139. So the price kept raising by $10, and each time it was limited to a certain amount of backers for the same product. All right, the next thing you should consider is referrals. Referrals are a huge part of sharing your campaign and growing your campaign. Indiegogo has a built-in referral system. Kickstarter does not. This is one of the reasons I decided to go with Indiegogo, was because I actually did get quite a few backers that came from friends of mine. So they were friends of friends, people I didn't know, but because my friends shared with their friends, they got, my friend that shared it got a certain amount off of the price that they paid for my product. And if you were able to get, let's say, 10 backers, you got a free product. So you can kind of game the system in a way with Indiegogo that Kickstarter doesn't allow. Now, there is ways to do this on websites that aren't in the Kickstarter platform or crowdfunding platform. Kickoff Labs has a great way of doing referral campaigns, and they have the analytics and the insight to see who all is giving which email addresses and which purchases. So you can use Kickoff Labs as a way to do referrals if you're using Kickstarter and you can't do referrals inside the Kickstarter system. This is also a good option if you're just launching on your own and not doing crowdfunding. Harry's, the example that I mentioned above at the beginning of this, they have a very similar launch dynamic. That was a viral launch, and Kickoff Labs actually took their code and made their own variation of the exact launch page that Harry's used. So that's something you can look at as well. And then the last thing is Thunderclap. Thunderclap's a way to get a lot of people excited about your campaign before it happens. And so what I did was I created a Thunderclap. You get all these people to join, and then on the day of your launch, it will thunderclap, which means everybody shares at the exact same time that this thing is launching. So I had a minimum requirement of 100 people for the thunderclap to happen, and so I just went to all my friends and got them to join the thunderclap. And on the day of the launch, I had 200 people that ended up joining the thunderclap, and on all their social accounts it blasted out my campaign link. Thunderclap is definitely something to use. And then the last thing I'll say on this before we head out is do your research. If you're going to be successful with your launch, with your product launch, you have to know how to do it well, and you need to research those that did it well before you. Like I said, Harry's was a fantastic campaign and a fantastic example of launching on your own. Meanall and the 10-year hoodie are great ones to look at for if you're doing a crowdfunding campaign, and just do more research in your product niche and figure out what's working for your niche before you launch, and just emulate the guys that are doing it right. Okay, that's it for this show. I'm excited to do this new format of screen share and walking you through a concept via screen share. Let me know what you think about this method of sharing via the comments. Okay, see you in the next video.